Welcome to Alasquatch, the show all about Bigfoot in the great state of Alaska. I'm your host, Beans Baxter. So lace up your boots, zip up your coat, and come with me on an adventure as we explore all things cryptid in the last frontier. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Alasquatch. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Summer's kind of winding down, at least it is up here. Oh my gosh, there's a moose right at my window. Okay, well, that was a little different. I looked up from the mic and there's a moose staring at me. There's a little calf, probably this year's calf. That was a little different. I tell you what, when I post this episode to Facebook, I will add a couple of pictures in the comments of the moose, but you got to promise me that you're going to ignore how dirty my window is, because it's a basement window, and basically every time I mow, of course, it gets like grass thrown on it, and then when the cat's outside, if I'm down here and he sees me, he likes to like paw at the window because I guess he thinks I'll let him in or something. So the window's pretty filthy, but it was that was pretty cool. I just happened to look up and there was somebody, you get that feeling that somebody's looking at you. I looked up and there was a moose standing there. So anyway, man, I'm like a minute in and I'm already distracted. I wanted to talk about a couple of different things today, and I wanted to make sure and remind everybody that the Boreal Bigfoot Expo is coming up on September 4th. That's less than a month away, folks. If you're making plans to attend, you might want to be sure and pick up your tickets. I know when Jessie was on here last week, she was saying that the expedition tickets are almost gone. So if you want to plan on going on that, you might want to go ahead and pick those up. And it wouldn't hurt to pick up your tickets for the event as well, because who knows, the closer time gets, the more they're going to sell. So you don't want to miss out. There's going to be some cool speakers there. There's going to be some cool events. Also, Adam Davies is going to be there, as well as Stephen Major. We'll be able to regale you with stories of Port Chatham and other Adam's international travels. He's been all over the place, all over the world, looking for different cryptids and adventuring, and he's got some awesome stories to tell. Also, I wanted to remind everybody to check out the Alasquatch YouTube channel. I've been releasing a video every Friday of my adventures in Washington. After the Medellin Falls Bigfoot Conference, I took to the woods, did some squatching, and hooked up with Bigfoot of Stevens County, Will Ulmer, also with Aaron West and Marshall White. And we were checking out an area called Sasquatch Alley. So be sure and head over to my YouTube page. I think I've got like 6 parts of that up right now, and they start to get interesting. Right around, I think part 3 is I found a possible track in an area called Gypsy Meadows. If you want to see that track, you got to head over and watch the video. And let's see, what else do I want to get into before I get into the main topic today? Man, I should have wrote some notes down. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention, if you head over to the Alasquatchpodcast.com and go to the store, that we now have Alasquatch Podcast shirts in stock. We went through, I could do an episode just on the trials and tribulations of getting shirts made. I'm not a retail guy. I've worked in retail, in the past, but just kind of as a peon. I've never actually had to worry about, acquiring stock and selling it and stuff like that. I'm not a retail guy. So there was a big challenge for me to find the right kind of shirt. And, not only am I not a retail guy, I'm also not a clothing guy. So it was extra challenging for me, to just kind of get into that field and see what the options were. And I wanted to keep them affordable I'm a big fan. There's a lot of t-shirt companies out there, especially veteran-owned t-shirt companies. And I'm a big fan of them, and I love their shirts. But holy cow, are they expensive? They're like $30 for a shirt. And I was like, I am not charging $30 for my shirt. I just cannot do it. It's ridiculous. And of course, at the time we didn't know it. My wife designed the Alasquatch logo, and it's very colorful, and it's very, it's cute, and it's awesome, and I love it. But little did we know, no one was as surprised as I to find out that the more colors that you have on your logo, the more expensive it is basically to get it put on a shirt. So that was kind of news to us, and we ended up, I at one point I just gave up. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the shirts. I'm not doing it. And I had gotten some quotes for some different businesses, some local businesses and some that weren't local. And surprisingly, I was able to find something that worked for me finally. And it's actually a veteran owned company. It's called Chosen Few Apparel. The gentleman that owns the company, Mike, he worked with me really closely. We talked almost every day for a couple of weeks. He was telling me about the process and just going through things and explaining to me how it worked. And we were able to get a quote from him that worked for us, so we wouldn't have to charge an outrageous amount for the shirts. And he really bent over backwards for us. So if you're into that kind of thing, if you're a veteran or if you're a friend to law enforcement, check out his website at chosenfewapparel.com and peruse some of their decently priced shirts. They're great shirts. He's got some really cool logos and graphic tees on there, and he's got other things like accessories, and he does stickers. So if you're into that kind of thing, or if you're looking at having shirts made, reach out to him. He'll do right by you. He's a good guy, and really happy with the deal he made us on the shirts. So head on over to the Alasquatch store, take a look at them, and buy a shirt. Help support the podcast. Every time you guys buy something off the website, it goes to help me just get out in the field, have my little adventures, put a little food in my belly, and hopefully buy some more equipment. So it never hurts to support things that you enjoy. I always try and make a point of it, especially small businesses and veteran-owned businesses. So chosenfewapparel.com and the Alasquatchpodcast.com. Check those places out and throw some shekels their way if you're so inclined, if you've got a little extra scratch laying around. I've also got some really cool stickers and magnets in the Alasquatch store that we just got in not too long ago. They're pretty cool, if I do say so myself. I think they're pretty neat. What else do I want to talk about? Man, it feels like even though I'm doing like a show a week, it feels like I haven't really got to talk about anything, I guess, personal on the show for a while. We went out to Area A recently, and for those of you that aren't familiar, there's a few episodes back called Talking Area A with Rob Roy Menzies, and we sat down and we talk about this area here in Alaska. It's on the Kenai Peninsula. It's a very remote property. You can't get there except by boat. And we were contacted and eventually became friends with the owner. And the owner's, he's a very professional gentleman. He doesn't want any attention. He wants to remain anonymous. And he invited us out. Rob's actually been out there 3 or 4 times, and I've been out there twice now. And the first time I went out was back in April, and there wasn't a whole lot going on. And I know, the owner was kind of disappointed in the amount of activity. He was like, so he invites me out to this beautiful, it's so nice. It's nicer than a lot of people's houses. He invites me out to this nice, beautiful cabin. He feeds me, and then this time he takes me out. He invites me out there, takes me fishing, feeds us, treats us great. And, the property is just amazing. And he's all apologizing to us because not much is going on. And I'm like, dude, people pay a lot of money for this type of treatment. Like this is great. Like I'm not complaining at all. I'd come out here even if there weren't any squatches. So we went out this time. And again, much like in April, not a whole lot going on. Although I do have some audio I need to go through. I have got probably about 8 or 10 hours worth of audio I need to look at. Haven't sat down and listened to it yet. But we did get out and we're exploring around, Rob Roy and I, and the intrepid Rob Roy Menzies from the Bigfoot Art Gallery in Palmer, Alaska. Check it out. And we got out and we went on, I don't even remember how long it was. It was probably really, honestly, it was probably only like a 2-mile hike, but the terrain was so rough. It was closer to 5, realistically, like the up and down and all that. We went and climbed a lot of hills. I mean, at some points we were like clawing up these hills on our hands and knees. And we wanted to get to some areas where there, was some difficult terrain. And we went in a direction basically where a lot of the activity, when there is activity, it's where a lot of the activity originates. A lot of the noises, knocks, screams, etc., rocks being thrown. It happens in that area, kind of to the left of the cabin. So we crawled through there and explored around a little bit. And I can't say, that we found anything earth-shattering, but we did. Actually, Rob Roy found a couple of really nice impressions in the ground. And one looks very foot-like. And, we of course, I just thought we were going on a quick hike, and I didn't bring my pack. I didn't have my ruler with me. And so all I had my wallet. So I just threw a $20 bill on the ground and took a picture, used the $20 bill for scale. And everybody I've sent the picture to, the first thing they say is like, "Oh, dude, you found $20 in the woods." So anyway, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I'll have to find something like a pen or something to carry with me to use for scale. So anyway, we got a couple of nice pictures of that. And I think what I'll do is when this episode drops is I will put them on the Alasquatch website, and I'll put them under the research tab. So if you go to the website and look at the top, there's a little menu there. You can go to the store or research or news. So if you click on the research tab, I'll have pictures of those imprints that we took pictures of on this trip. If you want to take a look at them, and it's in my opinion, it's either two things. It's either a bear or a Sasquatch, because where we were at, there's no people. Absolutely no way there was anybody out there walking around barefooted. Like I said, we were crawling up these ridges on our hands and knees, and we were actually going up one of these little ridges when Rob found the track. And it kind of looks like it almost looks as if like somebody was going down the hill kind of sideways. You know how you'll walk sideways when you're going down a hill so you don't gain momentum and fall. It's kind of almost what it looks like. So I will post those pictures to the website so you can peruse them, and head on over to the Alasquatch Podcast website. And also while you're there, you can head over to the store and look at the shirts and some of the other products we have. Oh, I'm turning into a salesman, huh? I'm getting the hang of this retail thing. Anyway, yeah, it was really quiet this trip. And, we did a lot of speculation. We sat around and we talked a lot, Rob Roy and I, and the owner. And, it's just so, not only is the Sasquatch activity seems to have decreased, but it seems like a lot of the other animals' activity has decreased in the area. Because we were, one of the possibilities that was thrown about was like, well, they realized that you were going to build the cabin no matter what, and you weren't going away, so maybe they just left the area. And I mean, that's certainly a possibility, but given the decrease in other activity as well, for example, the owner and Rob experienced this last year. Apparently, there was a high concentration of hummingbirds. And the owner, he put out a couple of hummingbird feeders on the front porch of the cabin, and they were getting emptied like every day or every other day. He'd have to fill them back up. And this year, I think he filled them up and put them out maybe in April, and they're still full. So there has been no hummingbird activity. So it's not just a decrease in activity in suspected Sasquatches. It's also, it seems like there's a decrease in activity in other animals as well. So that makes me think that it's maybe not necessarily just the Sasquatch. It's not necessarily, it's something, in my opinion, I think it's something probably environmental that's going on in the area. And I don't think, obviously, the hummingbirds were coming around because of the food. And you'd think if they knew there was food there, they would come back. So yeah, I can't figure that one out. I can't figure out why there's a decrease in animal activity. We did have a recent large earthquake in the Aleutian chain, not change. I think I was trying to say chains, plural. And it was close. It was like a 7.9, something like that. It was one of the largest ones that we've had recently. I personally did not feel it. I was actually out camping when it happened. I was about 80 miles up the road from Homer in the Sterling area, and was just crawling into my sleeping bag when it hit. And I didn't feel anything. Of course, I was moving around. I'm, getting in my rack and I'm moving. So maybe it might have shook the ground a little bit, but if I was moving, I probably wouldn't have felt it. And my wife texted me on my inReach and was telling me that she had felt it and that there was a tsunami warning, which, luckily we live high enough up that that's not really something we have to worry about. We don't have to worry about it reaching us, but we do have to worry about it taking out, the town and the infrastructure contained therein. Our problem wouldn't be our house getting swept away. It would be us getting food and other supplies after the tsunami. But that was something that Will Ulmer had suggested when I was telling him about the recent trip. He was saying, well, maybe it's because, the earthquake, maybe all the animals got scared and moved on. And I don't, because it didn't hit us that hard here. So I don't think that was it. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible. But I don't feel like it has anything to do with the cabin. I don't feel, this is just, I'm speculating. I have nothing to base this on whatsoever other than basically my own gut feelings. I don't think it has anything to do with the cabin or the cabin's construction. I think it's got something to do with the environment there where it's located, or maybe they're just on some kind of cyclical migration where they spend a year or two in this area and then they'll go spend another year or two over here and then eventually they'll make their way back. I don't know. But it seems like the activity, it took him, he's been working on the cabin for 3 years now, I think. And it seems like the activity's been ever present for the last 3 years when he's been there. So, yeah, it's just kind of weird. It would just stop all of a sudden. But we, like I said, Rob, Roy, and I, we went out and explored around a little bit. And something kind of odd that I noticed was that there wasn't really any bear sign. So we didn't find any bear poop. And that's kind of really, that's odd to me. I don't think there's a lot of bear around there. And in my opinion, as you guys know about my theory about bear and Bigfoot, I think no bear is probably better sign that there could be possible Sasquatch activity in the area. So anyway, I really had a great time out there, even though there wasn't a lot of activity. We set up, I think the first night, we didn't stay up too late. We stayed up till like midnight, just kind of BSing around the fire. And then the second night, I think we were up till about 2 a.m. And I left a recorder out and I hopefully I'll check that here pretty soon and see if we picked up anything. But yeah, it was a great time. So appreciative to get out there. Had a great time. We went fishing, caught a few fish. We didn't limit out. It was a new experience for me. I've never really fished in the ocean for salmon. I've always fished in lakes and rivers. I've done some halibut fishing before, but that was really my first time ever trolling for salmon, and that was a different experience. It was almost like like having to learn to fish all over again. And speaking of fishing, I'm gonna go gear up here in a couple hours and head out here locally and see if I can't get a few salmon. I've been trying to catch some fish for my in-laws, and haven't had a whole lot of luck. I don't think it's just the Sasquatch and the hummingbirds that are decreasing in numbers. It seems the fish are as well. So wish me luck, guys. I'm going to go out here in a couple hours and fish for a little bit. Try and catch a few salmon. Probably just give them to the in-laws. I'm not a huge fish person. I don't eat fish a lot. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I just don't eat it that much. In fact, while we were at the cabin, we had caught some really nice fish and made some fish tacos, and they were delicious. I think I ate like 4 of them, and they weren't little tacos either. And I was sitting there, I was eating those fish tacos. And I'm like, why don't I eat fish more? So, yeah, we had that's one of the coolest things. If you've never done it before, I really recommend it. If you've never gone out and caught or killed an animal and then like eaten it right away, eat it while it's fresh. It's kind of a neat experience. It's something that not a lot of people have a lot of experience with anymore. We're so removed from the process of how our food gets to the table. People lose sense. They lose touch with the way things are supposed to be. How you go out and you actually harvest the animal, and then you have to clean it and cook it, and we've just become so detached from that. It's really, I think, affected our society negatively. There's people out there that think that meat comes from supermarkets, and that's as much as they think about it. So if you've got any kids that are becoming, they're aging up to teenager status there, you might want to take them out and take them fishing, take them hunting, and just kind of teach them some skills, or find somebody that can teach them some skills on how to take care of themselves and how to provide for themselves if they have to. I think it's something that everybody should be familiar with. But I'm not here to preach to you about that. So anyway, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get out there again to the cabin, to Area A, which I think we're going to swap the name. I don't think the owner's real happy with the name Area A. And myself, I think it sounds too much like Area X. So I don't know. It's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't know when I'm going to head out there again. Hopefully I'll get out there again before the end of the season. But I will definitely post those pictures on the Alasquatch Podcast website so you can take a look at them. I believe Rob Roy, he watermarked them. He's got his name on them, and he's the one that took most of the photos. So I will post a few photos on there for you guys to look at. I didn't really get any footage for a video, and one of the reasons was that I knew, I've got so much footage from Washington that I still need to make videos of. I was kind of like, I've got enough videos. So I will definitely throw those pictures up on the website, and maybe on Instagram too, just for giggles. But that's about all I got for you, folks. Short episode today, just talking about a brief update on Area A. If you guys have any theories or ideas as to why maybe the activity has decreased, I would love to hear them. Like I said, I don't, my personal opinion is I don't think it's necessarily related to the construction of the cabin. I don't necessarily think it's related to the recent earthquake, because like I said, there was no activity in April, and that was months and months before the earthquake that we just had. So anyway, I'm open to your ideas and suggestions. I don't know. I think personally, maybe it has something to do with food sources, or some kind of like special plant is growing somewhere that only blooms or grows or bears fruit every 2 or 3 years, and maybe that's where they're at. They're up there somewhere where that plant is, and they'll be back next year. Who knows? It's all speculation at this point, but I guess any theory is as good as the last. Maybe they got on board the mothership and went home. Who knows? So anyway, guys, I want you to be safe out there. Be careful. Keep an eye out here for more information on the Boreal Bigfoot Expo and other events that I will be attending. Possibly CryptidCon here in November, as long as everything keeps going the way it's going. Hopefully that is still on the table. And be sure and check out Chosen Few Apparel and the Alasquatch Podcast website. So I will get off here, guys, and you all take care and be safe.